and it'll ask for the web key. You put in your web key. Now, some of the Homebrew is kind of assy, and you have to enter your IP address, your DNS, your subnet mask, and your gateway manually. Some of them can automatically detect it, and some of them doesn't even use the WFC settings whatsoever. So if you have a Wi-Fi based application and it's not working, go into your WFC settings. First, try to have everything auto-discover, then specify everything by itself, and then probably read the README file, because you most likely didn't do that and you're doing something horribly wrong. But once you have your Wi-Fi connected, here's a couple of useful applications you can use afterwards. DS AIM, or DS America Online Instant Messenger, is just that. It's an instant messenger for America Online Instant Messenger client for the Nintendo DS. Works pretty well. I really don't have any problems with it. I think the controls are a little clunky, but it works pretty well. Just got to go in and set up your WFC settings, and you can hop on pretty much any access point that you have the settings for, and you can do instant messenger from it. There's also an IRC client, which I'll show you in a moment, and there's also Yahoo and MSN Instant Messenger. Now, I'm not going to log in and showcase this because I don't want you guys harassing me or all my buddies, so going to go on to the next one. This is called DSIP. I guess I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but what it does is it's a session initialization protocol client, which is used for voice over IP. So this will turn your Nintendo DS into a soft phone. Unfortunately, you have to configure it using the config file line by line. It's still in beta, but shows a lot of promise that you can use your Nintendo DS as a voice over IP soft phone over Wi-Fi. I think that's very interesting. DS Organize is a PDA application it's pretty nifty, although the front end and the graphics are kind of crappy. You got your address book, you have a day planner, you have a calendar, you have a to-do list, you have a scribble pad where you can just scribble wherever you want, but not really going to go into it. And it's also got an IRC client, and it's got a whole bunch of fun stuff in it. The front end's really crappy, but nonetheless, it's an organizer and a PDA. It'll keep all your contacts. It even has an IRC client and a file browser already built in, so you can actually go and browse around all your files and whatnot. So, give it a shot. You might like it. Here we have IRC DS. It's still in beta, but nonetheless, this has to be one of the more used Homebrew applications that I use, and it's just that it is actually an IRC client for the Nintendo DS. Okay, we'll put in a nickname. Come on. This is being very assy. Okay, you know what? I'm having a hard time using this stylus because I'm giving my camera a reach around right now. But nonetheless, it works, and it works really well. You just have to make sure that your router settings are set up in your Nintendo wireless configuration. Here we have DS Live Weather. It's just a weather application. It'll actually log on to the internet, go online, and get your local weather forecast. You really, no thrills, no frills. Again, this is another one of those applications that you're going to need to make sure you have your Wi-Fi connections programmed into your Nintendo DS if you're using a Wi-Fi connected game. And there you go. It's weather on your Nintendo DS. Yippee freaking skippy. For all of you hardcore Neo-Japan anime freak bags out there that have absolutely nothing better to do with your time but to wank off to, you know, fantasy anime fanfic porn, there's Hentai DS, which nonetheless I couldn't even consider a demo at this point, but you know, if you're one of these Neo-Japanese ravars or whatever the fuck they're called, and you just have to go and beat out some knuckle children in public bathrooms because you've got nothing better to do at a restaurant than stare at your obese girlfriend, or fantasizing that you actually want to be a 17-year-old, you know, Asian anime girl. I don't know. Maybe this will float your boat just a little bit. If manhandling your extra man meats down there isn't dripping off the pounds the way they actually should be, they actually have Weight Watchers for the Nintendo DS. you go online, you can go and get a whole bunch of point values. I mean, I don't do Weight Watchers. Lord knows if I did, I'd probably just blow away in the breeze with the trench coat. But nonetheless, it's Weight Watchers for the Nintendo DS. So, you know, if all you hardcore, you know, all your hardcore anime, you know, masturbating monkeys out there, if that ain't shedding the pounds, maybe eating right and doing valid exercise will work. And if you have to go and boast that you're using your Nintendo DS to do it, so be it. Go for it. I honestly have to say this has to be one of the most useful and inspiring applications I've ever seen homebrew-wise. Trying to get fat-ass gamers to quit being fat asses, but not to quit being gamers. Well, you can't solve all the world's problems, at least you can get half of them. What the hell would Homebrew be without emulation at all? And we all know I'm a huge NES fan. And this is NES DS. And I wonder what it does. Perhaps it's an NES emulator? Perhaps. Okay, this you have to patch with DLDI support, so you gotta make sure you get that up and running. You know, I've been into NES emulation for about 10 years now. And this is the first time I've actually seen an emulator that does something that no other does. Okay? Of course, we have the fast forward. We all know about fast forward. Does save states, does load states. Has a debug window that lets you see all the data going across the system. Shows a lot of potential for some ROM hacking. But it has this emulator has something that no other has. Rewind! Yeah, that's right. This emulator has rewind. After so many years, I thought I've seen it all, and you can't add any more features into an emulator. Lo and behold, they've got one more. Rewind. Of course, you know, you got different filter effects, and you can alter the input buttons and all that such, but, you know, nonetheless, this has to be one of the best emulators I've seen for a handheld device ever. And of course, we have the trustful and faithful SNES emulator. Now, it's not completely working right now, but it does show a lot of potential. Again, you need your DLDI support, and ROMs are illegal, ROMs are unlawful, stealing is bad, blah blah blah. Now, there is some glitching and there are some problems with the layers, and it's still in beta, but it works. I mean, I guess it's playable for the most part. It's still missing a lot of support for DSP chips and other coprocessors such as the Super FX and Super FX 2, but it works. No homebrew segment would be complete without some kind of homebrew game itself, and the Nintendo DS is no different from anything else. Here's a game called Amplitude DS. It's a clone of the game called Amplitude, which is a mix of Dance Dance Revolution and kind of like a tracker program, so you can actually remix tracks as you play the game for points and combos. Now, it's gonna be very difficult for me to play in this position, but I'm gonna try. There is so much stuff for Nintendo DS Homebrew that's completely impossible to mention, even a cunt hair of it. This is just one of the games. This game is completely 3D and completely done for free. I suck. Well, anyway, this is me being very horrible at this game. It's completely done in 3D. It's got some really awesome remixed audio tracks of your favorite game music, and then some. They also have things like Duke Nukem. I think they've ported some of the earlier Quake games. They've created the coding competition homebrew games. They have painting programs. They have organizer programs. They have platformers, they've got shooters, they got first-person shooters, they've got side-scrollers, they've got action-adventure. There is so much homebrew out there that it'll take... It took me 2 weeks just to cover just this little bit I showed in this segment. So I would highly suggest get a couple of buddies on IRC or on forums or such. Start talking about what is awesome, what is not so awesome, what's tolerable, what's horrible, and what's workable. So this is the end of the segment. Hit me up on IRC or check out the show notes. I'll try to put some links and crap of the such. But anyway, you know, stealing ROMs is bad. Please don't do it.